Okay, so Venom is a PG-13 sci-fi drama action comic book film. Now, of course, I guess right off the bat, they do not mention Spider-Man. The closest thing you have is you have a Jameson astronaut. Yes, J. Jonah Jameson, one of his sons, is an astronaut. So since there's no mention of Spider-Man, no mention of Secret Wars. Instead, you have the Life Foundation. Yes, your evil group is called the Life Foundation. They have rocket ships coming back, carrying specimens. They don't have all the specimens, so you're introduced to your evil corporation that is trying to effectively find a host and meld with a symbiote. So that's what they're doing. Lots of symbiotes reject the host, therefore killing them. Eddie Brock's investigative journalist. And a jerk. Tom Hardy does a really good job as playing both Venom and Eddie Brock. And when they're going through the beginning of the symbiosis process, and it's the voice in his head. That sounds like a bizarre combination of either. Like a James Earl Jones with a little bit of Tobin Bell thrown in there. And yours is like, what? It initially rattles him because he now has this large booming voice inside of his head telling him to do things. And they work a very well comedy pairing. It's very light on the action sequences. I mean, if you watch trailers, you've pretty much seen them all. You've got the car chase on the motorcycle, which works really well. You've got the scene in the apartment, which works really well. You end up having an ending battle sequence, because you have to, it's a superhero film. And you have one other, like, full-on Venom sequence. And you know what? All those, except for, like, the final battle, it felt like it needed more. Like, Venom feels well-rounded enough. Michelle Williams' female love interest feels well-rounded enough. I cared nothing for the villain. The villain is kind of that, like, Elon Musk, Steve Jobs sort of, oh, my company's now in aerospace and it's in pharmaceuticals. And he's not an all-around good guy. He's got a really punchable face, but when they finally get to, like, the resolution of, you know, Venom taking on the main villain, it's not as good. I was like, oh. It's probably because the interaction between Eddie Brock and the villain is super minimal. It's really minimal. I mean, there's no connection between them at all, except for the fact that, like, oh, I have one of your symbiotes. I want that symbiote back. It's bonding with you well. Okay? They establish the alien symbiote fairly well. They do a good job with that. But just not really for the ending sequence, which is Venom is PG-13. Venom is talking about, you know, eating brains, eating heads, eating faces, eating kidneys, livers, lungs, heart, tater tots, and chocolate. I mean, he's talking about eating all of these people and eating all these organs. And when people get the rejection from the symbiote, it's a very violent process. But to make it fit with Marvel Cinematic Universe, if they decide to use it, they had to kind of dumb it down. And I was like, and it's a hard piece because there's, you know, foul language, a lot of it. And I was like, had they just said, you know what, we're gonna go R. How are we gonna reconcile this with Spider-Man? How are you gonna reconcile Deadpool? But I will say, the post-credit sequence, if they do make a sequel, oh, that's gonna be good. It's gonna be really good. Because they really put the most iconic villain that Venom has at the post-credit sequence. And the person who's playing him, he does that character incredibly well. Is this worth seeing in theaters? Definitely not worth seeing in 3D. This is probably a matinee. This is not a full value. This is definitely, a Netflix. It's definitely a rental. I enjoyed it. I think a lot of it works, but it doesn't all work. And of course, for my trailers, I actually got to see Aquaman, which I thought was kind of funny to see a DC one with the Marvel film. Well, Marvel film. As well as Glass. So see that with the M. Night Shyamalan film. Superhero band. So I liked it. I thought it was good. I do think it's worth watching. But I wouldn't say this is one of those go out of your way, spend really big money, and definitely there's no reason to see this in 3D. Overall, effects were very good. I liked the ending battle. I felt like they needed to do more to develop the tension between the characters than they actually did.